What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Reek Knows Hoops. I'm your host, Tyreek. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. This is a place where we talk all about NBA basketball, so if you love hoops, this is the place for you. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a 5-star review. It helps out a ton. And let's get into some basketball talk. This video is going to be about the Boston Celtics preseason opener. Mainly talking about this game because this is the main game that I paid attention to because I wanted to see what the Celtics are looking like so far, what lineups they would run out. And you know, I have an initial reaction, not really too much that you can take away from preseason, but it's good seeing some guys going out there and looking like they're already in midseason form, such as Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, and also some of the new additions to the Celtics that I think will have a good impact on this team in the upcoming season. So let's go ahead and get into the Celtics preseason game against the Orlando Magic. Off the bat, Jaylen Brown looked excellent. He looks like he's ready to take another step forward. He's somebody that's taking a leap pretty much every year of his NBA career. He's gotten better every single season, which is something that you love to see from a young player. Progressive getting better, made the All-Star team last season, was just under 25 points per game scoring. And he was severely missed during the stretch run of the season. He missed a lot of time in the last month of the year. He had a wrist injury that he had to get surgery on. So he ultimately missed the playoff series against the Brooklyn Nets. And that was a key reason to why the Celtics weren't really competitive in that series outside of the one game. Jayson Tatum gave him 50. It was pretty much a wash for the Celtics in that series. And obviously, I don't think if Jaylen Brown was there that the Celtics were winning that series, but I think it could have made it a little more compelling because they were right there. You could just tell the Celtics needed a little more punch, and Jayson Tatum was asked to do way too much on the offensive side of the ball. And that's what you have Jaylen Brown for. And I think the dynamic of having these two without having a third quote-unquote co-star with them. You don't have a Kemba Walker with them this year. You don't have a Kyrie. You don't have a Gordon Hayward. It's really Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. It's their show offensively, and they're going to be asked to provide the bulk of the scoring on the offensive side, which I think it's going to be a lot easier for them this year that they don't have to accommodate for another third all-star caliber player. Sometimes less is more, and I think with the Celtics team, having less star power might be better for this team going into this upcoming season. I still have a little bit of concern with the playmaking woes of the Boston Celtics. That's what they struggled with last year. I think Celtics fans kind of underestimated the value that Gordon Hayward had for this team as far as being one of their best playmakers, because last year Kemba Walker's obviously not the best playmaker, and he also was in and out of the lineup all season long. Marcus Smart is an okay playmaker, but he's not really great in that role. He's more suited to be a 3-and-D defensive player. And they didn't have an Al Horford who has, notoriously been a very good playmaker for them. They asked Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown to step up their playmaking a lot. And while they did improve in the playmaking aspect, that's not what you want your best two scorers to be doing. You don't want them to also be, your lead facilitators. There's only a select few players in the NBA that can do that. You have your LeBrons, you have your James Hardens, you have your Trae Youngs, and the list gets very short after that. Maybe a Dame, Luka Doncic. Not a very long list, and you definitely don't want your young wings being those kind of guys to do that when they've never really been asked to do that. That's something that takes a lot of time to develop. They brought in Dennis Schroeder. They brought back Al Horford. They brought in Josh Richardson. I think these guys, neither of them are like super elite playmakers. I think Al Horford is for being, a front court player, in the post area. But Dennis Schroeder is not really an elite playmaker. Josh Richardson is not an elite playmaker. But I think they can accommodate for the lack of playmaking that the Celtics have been dealing with. And together that they can kind of come together and be, good playmakers as a whole, as a unit in a way. Because tonight they started out with Marcus Smart at the 1. They had JB, Jayson Tatum. I forgot Juan Hernan-Gomez got traded to the Celtics late in the offseason. I think that was a very good move. He started today with Robert Williams at the center position. I think Rob Williams should get the start at the center. It's just a matter of him being able to stay on the court because injuries have been a big problem. But I think Juancho Hernan-Gomez is a nice addition, man. A good defensive player. Can hit the three-point shot. I think he's a very versatile, 3-4 type of player. Maybe can play some small ball 5 at times if they need him to. I really like that move a lot. I'm interested to see if they experiment with some other lineups going along the way. I like seeing Dennis Schroeder and Al Horford in that second unit, though, today. It seems like they already have a nice little chemistry. They connected on a couple lob passes, played really well. I think Peyton Pritchett also is another guy that you can add into that, trying to improve as a playmaker. I think he took strides and during last season, he took a lot of strides, became a much better player. And I think, he might have had a confidence boost this offseason just going into Summer League and playing pretty good. And then he had the big Pro-Am game. I don't know how much we're going to take account, a Pro-Am game, but he had a very good performance in that game. So maybe he's ready to take another step forward. Also, I'm excited to see guys like Aaron Nesmith, a lottery pick, Romeo Langford, a lottery pick. How do these guys come into this season? Are they going to be a part of the rotation in a big way? Aaron Nesmith and Romeo Langford both played a lot in that playoff series due to injuries. You can say, at times they played pretty good. At times you can tell the inexperience was there. Romeo Langford is somebody that I think he can be a productive player in the Celtics team. He's a good defender. His offense hasn't really caught up to his defense yet. But he hit a big shot tonight. He hit the game-winning three-point shot tonight. So maybe, getting this preseason going can be a nice confidence booster. He also played really well in the Summer League. And sometimes for young players, they just need a good summer. They need a good summer playing, against competition that they should dominate against, and they play well. Aaron Nesmith was really good in the Summer League. I think that is promising for him and for the Celtics, that maybe he can be that knockdown three-point shooter that they desperately need. I think that it's something that he can provide, and hopefully for the Celtics' sake, he is that, 50% three-point shooter that he was in college. Maybe not 50%, that's kind of extreme, but maybe he can, be flirting with 40%, because the Celtics are not really they don't really have great jump shooters, honestly. Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum can hit three-point shots, obviously. Marcus Smart is a high 30s type of shooter, but they don't just have guys that are known for three-point shooting, which is something that you need in this league. You need guys that can knock down jump shots. You need guys that can knock down open shots, space the floor out. Make it a lot easier for Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown to operate. So, I think initial reactions, Josh Richardson didn't really play well. Dennis Schroeder didn't really play well offensively. I think those two players will be fine. I think they're vets playing to prove something right now. Josh Richardson in his last two stops has not really played good basketball. And he's somebody in Miami that was a player that was spoken on highly, very highly player. People really thought highly of Josh Richardson. So I think he has a little something to prove. Not only prove to, maybe people around the league that he is still that kind of guy, but maybe prove to himself that he can still be that player. Because, as a competitor, you want to prove to yourself that you can still hoop the way that you were just 3 years ago. And a guy like Dennis Schroeder, we know he turned down a lot of money in the during last regular season. He turned down a big extension. We know this. It's been clowned about. He's taken the jokes. He's made jokes of his own. He has something to prove, man. He wants to, obviously, I'm sure he wants to go back out on the market and get a lot more than the money that he's going to be making this season, which I think is just like $5.3 million or something around that number. So the Celtics, I like what I've seen in this opening preseason game. I can say that much. As for the Magic, we're going to speak on the Magic too, because this is not a biased channel. This is not a biased platform. We speak about everybody that played and everybody that deserves to be spoken of. Jalen Suggs, his first game, struggled hitting some shots, man, early on. But he did hit a logo three, and I love the confidence that he plays with. I think the Magic got, I don't want to say a steal, because, he's a top 5 pick. It's not like he failed drastically. He just fell right to them, and I think that's a very good blessing for this Magic team. So a team that might need a break, and I think Jalen Suggs, it'll be seen how good he's going to be, but I think at least he's just going to be a very, very solid point guard or two guard in this league. I think he's very versatile. Also, I want to see how if guys like Gary Harris and Terrence Ross are even on this roster as this season goes on. I really want to see that. But, Wendell Carter played very solid, hit a three-point shot. He played a lot better in Orlando when he got traded there second half of the season. I'm expecting him to take a big leap this season. Maybe not a huge leap like a most improved player type, but I could see him being the player that he was drafted to be, and that's just a very solid big, not only on the defensive side, but also that offensive game catching up too. So I'm expecting him to have a big leap. And Cole Anthony, he can hit shots. He hits crazy shots. Mo Bamba looked good tonight offensively. He looked very good. Hit 6 of 10 shots, hit a three-pointer, was hitting some mid-range, grabbed 10 boards. I believe he had 13 points. He had 13 points on the night, plus 11, plus minus, man. Mo Bamba is somebody. This is a big year for him. This is a big season for Mo Bamba, because he's kind of playing for, his next contract in a way, because, those rookie deals are starting to come up, and the people in this draft class have gotten their extensions. I believe he was in the Tatum, the Aaron Fox draft class, Lonzo Ball. Those guys all got paid, man. Those guys all got paid. I believe he's in that draft class. I'm not 100% sure, but the class that he was with, guys are, making their way. he was the class after that. My apologies, but guys are making their way in that draft class. So that's a Luka, Trae Young, Jaren Jackson Jr. That draft class, DeAndre Ayton. Those guys are, either got paid or they're about to get paid. So it's time for Mo Bamba to find his way in this league. And if this preseason game, which you can take preseason with a big time grain of salt, if this preseason game is any indication, maybe Mo Bamba can have the best season of his NBA career so far. And that's what I like about this Magic team. They went all in on the rebuild. So a lot of these young players are going to have a lot of opportunities to prove themselves. And RJ Hampton, Cole Anthony, Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter, Jalen Suggs, Markel Fultz when he gets back, Jonathan Isaac. Bunch of young guys, a lot of minutes open up. Brand new coach, Jamal Mosley. I got it this time. Brand new coach. It's open up for these guys. Young guys get as many minutes as possible. Produce. Show us what you got. Show us if you're worth keeping in with this rebuild. Just show us if you're worth keeping around. So I think Magic fans, it's been a long process because you had a couple years where you were a postseason team, but we knew that you guys weren't really going to do much outside of that series. I think this is good for them. They have young talent, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be fun watching this young talent grow. They're one of the teams I was excited to talk about this offseason because I like the moves that they made. A guy like a Franz Wagner, another versatile wingman. I think he still has a lot of ways to go as far as being really productive as an NBA player, but I think once he grows into his game, it's going to be really good. So Magic fans should be happy. I think Celtics fans should leave this game liking what they see, but maybe you want to wait until you see them against, I don't want to say real competition, but in a regular season game when that time comes, because you can't really tell too much. You don't know if this is the lineup that new coach Ime Udoka wants to run out, because you got to think he's a brand new coach too. Maybe he's just experimenting, see what he likes. I'm still getting used to Brad Stevens not being on the sideline. Like, I had to process through my head real quick that Brad Stevens is in the front office now. Like, a lot has changed in the NBA, man. A lot has changed in the NBA, but I can honestly say, like, this season is a season that I don't think I've been this excited for basketball ever. And I probably said that going into last season too, but I'm really excited for this season, man, because even though it might seem inevitable what the outcome is, maybe it's not. Maybe we just have another fun season. We get to see a lot of new faces, or old faces in new places. We got a lot of rookies that we're all excited to see. And teams have stuff to prove. Like the Celtics had a down year last season. They got a lot to prove this year. A lot of people aren't really talking about them as being one of the top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference, top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. So they got something to prove, man. I'm expecting big things from the Celtics team. I'm expecting the Magic to have big things from their young talent too. Celtics preseason opening win. Let me know what y'all think about it in the comments. I'll be sure to talk about more teams next time out, but this is the game I focus on the most because I had to see the Celtics play, and I was pretty impressed with what I've seen. But once again, it's just preseason, but we love basketball over here, so we're going to talk about it.